You're tuned in to Ask the Master Auto Technician. Car questions? Get answers right now. Call 850-763-0555.
James Auto Center, we fix it right, guaranteed. Beep, 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 yeah.
All right, good morning, everybody. This is Tuesday morning show. I got Larry Walters calling all the way from Orlando. He represents the Fair Tax out there, fairtax.org to be exact. If you don't know what the Fair Tax is and how it applies to you, you might want to listen to it because it might be something that would benefit you in the long run and even your children. And Larry, how are we doing this morning, sir?
Good morning, James. I'm doing well, thank you. I hope you are.
We are doing extremely well. The daylight is getting a little earlier in the morning now, so when we start the show, we can actually see the sun trying to peek its head over the horizon, just trying to at least. But anyway, tell me what's going down towards Orlando with Fair Tax, because a lot of people have asked me here lately about, libertarians don't like tax. Well, I don't know anybody that likes tax, but we understand that there has to be tax to pay for certain things that we have in our society, and going about it equitably where everybody has skin in the game is what you were talking about. Is that correct?
That's true, James.
All right.
The fair tax, it levels the playing field for all of us as taxpayers. The law is written in such a way that everybody under that law will be treated exactly the same. There's no favorites, no loopholes, no privileged few.
Wow.
We all get the same considerations, the same treatment, and the same protection. In fact, under the fair tax, it is now up to the government to prove guilt rather than you to prove your innocence. How about those apples?
That would be a change, a breath of fresh air. Because right now you're guilty till you can prove your innocence when it comes to the Internal Revenue Service.
That's right. And because the fair tax abolishes the Internal Revenue Service, we don't even have to be concerned about them peeking into our personal lives any longer, putting holds on our bank accounts or even draining them. And we've got another new freedom. It's one of those things that truly would make America great again.
Now, let me ask you a question. What seems to be the biggest holdup? Because I heard you say "Make America Great Again," and that seems to be Donald Trump's slogan when he ran for president. But how is Donald Trump reviewing or accepting the idea of the fair tax? Has anyone even come to him and say, "Hey, this is an idea we'd like to see you get behind"? Has anyone done that yet or talked to him about it?
We do not know if that has happened yet. We believe he has had a little bit of information about the fair tax. We have no idea what he thinks about it. He still promotes his three-tiered income tax system, and deleting, just about all of the credits and whatnot that one would get from it under today's system. It would be a better system of taxation than we have today, James. But because it's an income tax system, it is just very, very pliable and very easy to corrupt again. So it would not stay a three-tier tax system any more than Chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee, Grady, has a flat tax proposal in concert with Representative Ryan, the chairman of the Republican committee.
Right.
They just won't stay flat. They're too easily changed. The fair tax makes it much, much more difficult to change anything.
Is there anybody, I know you said the flat tax. A lot of people get the flat tax and the fair tax mixed up, but they're two separate animals. The fair tax is across the board where it's a consumption tax, where the flat tax is a percentage of what you make. Am I correct about that?
Right. That's the big difference.
Right.
They both apply it to everyone equally. The big difference is that the flat tax is a tax on income. It does not abolish the IRS because it requires the IRS. And it is very, like I said, regarding President Trump's three-tier tax plan, it is very pliable, and it will not stay flat very long. In fact, the ink will barely be dry on the bill before changes are in motion.
It does seem to make you wonder about who would support this up there, because it's all about power. Whoever has the power, makes the power, has the power up there. But is there anybody on Capitol Hill that supports the fair tax, is willing to get behind it, put their name on a bill and get supporters? Do we have anyone in the House or anyone in the Senate that's willing to put their name on it and say, hey, I support this, like Massey, Tom Massey, or Justin
Yes.
Amash, or any of
Yeah,
those?
this we're in a new congressional session now, so it's a brand new ball game.
Right.
As far as I know, we've only got about 12 or 13, 14 co-sponsors in the House. Last session we had 75.
Right. Okay.
So,
maybe we'll get more this year. Maybe because we have 325 in the House and we have another 100 in the Senate. And if we could get another 100, if we could get 100 people, up 25 more people than last session, we might stand a chance of maybe getting them to actually look at this, put it in committee. And I don't know, but it'd be an idea. I know it has to go to committee first, and if it gets out of committee, that's a step in the right direction. Is there any possibility it may go to committee this year? Does anyone know?
Well, it's in committee. It's been in the House Ways and Means Committee since 1999. It gets resubmitted every year.
Okay.
HR 25 is ready to go. It's the only tax plan that has been put out
Okay.
that has the research that it has. There has never been a tax plan with as much independent research done and presented to the Congress. So it's ready to go as it sits right now in the Ways and Means.
Okay.
If the Ways and Means Committee would put it out to the floor for discussion, we firmly believe that it would get passed. Because it is that simple a plan to understand if they choose to. And that's what I mean is if they choose to understand.
But it's been in committee for years, you say. I don't know how many years you say, but it's been there. But it never seems to get out of committee. It dies in committee or never gets put to the House. If it get out of committee, it could go to the House floor to be debated on. People, it may pay attention. So about the only way we're going to get it where people pay attention is to get it out of committee. So is there anyone we could write, maybe email, maybe who is the chairman of the committee or the members of the committee? Can we go to the fairtax.org website and see who we need to email?
That's an excellent place to start, James. Fairtax.org. They can even fax their personal representatives through that website, and they can, if they will, they can go to just search on, do a Google or a Bing search, House Ways and Means Committee, and you'll get to the committee website and the committee Facebook sites, and you can contact Kevin Brady, who's the chairman of that committee, and the members of the committee who might be your personal representative out there.
Might be.
In Florida, we only have 2, but I'm sure up in the Panhandle where you're located, your signal bleeds into Alabama. I'm pretty certain about that, don't you?
Yes, it does. It does bleed. Yeah. We bleed Alabama blue up here sometimes, I should say. We do. It is amazing here. This is lower Alabama. A lot of people, we're the other Florida. You have 2 Floridas. You have where you live, that Florida, then we have the Panhandle, which is in the central time zone, and a lot of people forget we exist up here. But so that seems to be the biggest problem, is getting it out of committee where it can go to debate. Who are the people that's holding it back the most? Who are the people that don't want this besides our politicians that we've elected? Is there any particular...
The tax lobbyists, James.
The tax lobbyists.
Half of the lobbyists in Washington, D.C. are tax lobbyists.
Ah.
Their job, and they get paid a lot of money
Yeah.
to do this, is to influence Congress to create tax favors for their clients, whoever their client might be.
K Street lobbyists. Okay, that's where
K Street lobbyists. That's
okay.
it.
That's the biggest holdup, is the K Street lobbyists, which I think our own ex-representative Steve Sutherland is now part of that group now. He was a representative of Northwest Florida for a couple of sessions, then was defeated by Gwen Graham, and he immediately went into lobbying. It seems to be a natural progression of our representatives. They go in believing in a smaller government. They get on this patriotic bandwagon, vote for me, get me in office. They get in office, and after a couple sessions, they start voting just like everybody else up there. And then all of a sudden, we don't want them in office anymore. And then we get rid of them, and where do they go? They go to work against the very people that put them into office. They go to work for lobbyists.
That's correct. That brings to mind one of two congressional amendments I would like to see implemented.
Okay.
One is that Congress shall create no laws that do not apply equally to them.
Mm-hmm.
And the second one would be that if you have served in the Congress, which is the House or the Senate, or in any leadership position within the government of the United States, you may not take a job as a lobbyist for at least 5 years.
You know, it's amazing you're talking about this. I'm listening to a book on Audible called The Anti-Federalist Papers, written by Patrick Henry. I didn't even know there was a book called The Anti-Federalist Papers.
I didn't either.
I did. It caught me off guard. I went, Patrick Henry? Is that the person that said, give me liberty or give me death? Well, that's the same Patrick Henry. And he's talking about the same things back in the 1700s. 1780 area, about what could happen if we adopt the Federalist Papers. He's saying if you do this, you may go into debt where you have no intention of paying it back. You may get people who become lobbyists. And, he's talking about the very same thing, like he could see through a crystal ball. What would happen if we put this form of government we have now, which, Federalist Papers presented. And I wanted, it's just kind of amazing how they were saying, Patrick Henry saying, there's a better way of doing this, and we don't need to rush into passing this Constitution. That's what he was trying to say, because if you do this, this could happen, or that could happen. And it's pretty interesting, the very same things that he warned about going into debt, about lobbyists, about taxing, about loyalties to Great Britain, things that we kind of like, looking at Europe to be an example of how we need to be, saying, no, we don't need to follow them. That's why we left them. And the very same thing that we're doing now, he warned about in the 1780s. It's pretty amazing. It really is. Almost like he's looking. It's almost like he's got a crystal ball. But it's a good book if you're interested in listening to it. Audible, no shameless plug for them out there. But I've read the Federalist Papers before, hard read. So I got it on Audible to listen to it. But I said, you know what? Before I listen to that, I have an idea. Let me listen to the Anti-Federalist Papers. Woo! If people would listen to that and then read the Federalist Papers and listen to it, you can see the argument of what our founding fathers went through in the 1780s to put together this Constitution. And it's not a perfect Constitution. It is, it is what it is, but he does talk about the weak areas that you really don't give much thought to until someone brings up what Patrick Henry brings up, some of the questions about unintended consequences. And that's exactly what's happening in the tax system. He talks about the unintended consequences of taxing and how Congress can levy war and levy taxes and how they do it with no recourse. And it's pretty interesting. It really is. But anyway, thank you so much for being on here. We got to go to a break. And I know we didn't talk to you last week, and that's kind of good because absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Oh, you're so sweet. Now, with that in mind, don't forget today's Valentine's Day.
Yes, it is.
Treat Anna Marie extra special.
There's not a day goes by that I don't try to remind myself to treat her extra special, and there's not a day goes by that I fall short. But I'm trying to get better at it. I really am. I want to be the best husband I can. All right, thank you so much, Larry. This is James Morris along with Anna Marie Morris, and we'll be talking to y'all in just a minute after we go to a break. And if you have a car question, give us a call, 850-763-0555 with your automotive question. We'll be right back.
James Auto Center, we fix it right.